Hey guys, how's it going? This is Khan and welcome to episode 101 of Good or Garbage, the number one place where you can find out what stuff is being sold in the division on a weekly basis. And this week, as you know, pretty much no exception, it's got a lot of garbage. This week is not really the greatest. I'm not really sure which is worse, last week or this week. Be sure to definitely go down into the heads up section and check out and see what stuff maybe for your build or, you know, maybe not. But yeah, definitely go ahead and check that out. There are a couple things that maybe some of the newer agents will want to check out. And there's a few things that I talked about during the video that could maybe help out some players who may be a little bit newer to the game. So with all of that being said, I hope you guys find this video useful. If you do, be sure to hit that like button and let's get started. All right, now let's move on to the attachments for this week. In DZ9 at the vendor downstairs, there is a heavy magazine spring being sold with 4% critical hit damage, 3% critical hit chance, and 10.1% rate of fire. If you're looking for something like this to use on your LMGs for maybe a Lone Star build, this could work out pretty well for you, giving you all of that rate of fire, the chance, and the damage. So yeah, this is a pretty nice one to pick up if you don't have anything like this. The next thing to look at would be the Omega Rifle Suppressor. This is a pretty nice one. It's unfortunately it doesn't have critical hit damage. If it did have 4% damage, this would be simply amazing, but as it is, it's still not bad and still very good. If you don't have one of these, you definitely will want to check it out, especially if you're speccing into headshot damage. Comes in with 18.5% headshot damage, 3% critical hit chance, 2.5% stability, and 49% reduced threat. These are some pretty decent mods. This is a pretty slow week, so you know, if you need some stuff, these really could help you out. And don't forget to look down in the heads up section for the light zone vendors and the dark zone vendors that are not video covered but still giving you that information that you could use to help better your build. Now let's go take a look at this week's gear mods. In the base of operations at the dark zone vendor, there is a 4% sticky bomb damage mod being sold. If you are looking for something like this to help out your sticky bomb build, you can go and pick this up in the base, but just remember, although this is the base, it will cost you dark zone credits. Over in Camp Clinton at the special equipment vendor, there is a 7% support station range mod being sold. If you need something like this for your reclaimer build or some kind of healer build and you want to up your support station range, then you can go over there and pick it up, although it will cost you 192 Phoenix credits. At West 42nd Street, there is a performance mod being sold with 5.5% first aid ally heal. If you need this for your build, then go ahead over to, you know, West 42nd Street and go check it out. Unfortunately, it's not the God Roll 6%, but if you need it until you can get the 6%er, then go ahead and check it out. Wading through this sea of poop, we finally found at West 31st Street a Firearms mod with 266 firearms. It also comes with a pretty nice 3,134 skill power. So if you are looking for some skill power on your Firearms mod, this is a pretty nice one to go and get. 266 is nothing to laugh at, so if you need that, head on over to West 31st Street and check it out. Now let's take a look at the 280 to 283 gear score items. In Camp Clinton at the special equipment vendor, there is a 281 Liberator being sold. This one with 21% enemy armor damage. The talents on it are Commanding, Determined, and Meticulous. Honestly, the talents on this are pretty weak. I really wish Determined was in the third slot. Commanding is pretty nice for PvE content. So if you're going to try to go for Commanding, you're going to really need to make some things happen in your build. Determined, still with the split between electronics and firearms, is a bit much, so I highly recommend that if you see Determined in any other slot besides the the third, then it may not be in your best interest to try to make that talent happen. Now, a better option for something to pick up this week at Camp Clinton is the Enhanced AUG A3P. Now, this is a 283 gear score weapon. It comes with 21.5% critical hit chance. The talents on this are pretty nice with Unforgiving, Self-Preserved, and Fierce in the third. Now, if you want to maybe get rid of one of these, either Fierce or Self-Preserved, because a lot of people actually do like Unforgiving, then you can go ahead and do that. Maybe put something else in here depending on what your build is. Responsive is always a good choice for these types of weapons, and yeah, I know some people still having bad luck with the house, and the AUG is not a bad SMG to have if you're kind of hurting for something. So yeah, try and take a look at this. It's not bad, but you may want to do something with it. But Self-Preserve giving you some health back off of crits, plus Fierce giving you more crit chance. Even though I don't really think you need it, Deadly might be a better option. Either Deadly or I would say, yeah, either Deadly or Responsive would be a better option. And you can switch that out either in Fierce or in Self-Preserve, depending on your build and how much crit chance and damage and stuff you have. So let me know in the comment section, which one do you take off and what do you put in the slot? At 5th Avenue, we have a surplus SVD sniper rifle being sold this week with 282 gear score. Now, the headshot damage on this is quite low with 157%. It also comes with the talents Trained, Balanced, and Disciplined. Discipline comes based on all of the SVD sniper rifles, so that kind of is what it is. Now, looking at the talents that we can roll off of this, we have Balanced and we have Trained. Now, particularly the SVD sniper rifles are used for the Deadeye builds just because they fire so quickly and they're generally quite stable. Now, if I were to run this, I would probably say get rid of Trained and put Deadly on this because Deadly is going to give you that critical hit damage, which works out for Deadeye, since Deadeye is 100% critical hit chance as long as you are in cover and zoomed into your scope. Now, the other thing about this is Balanced. Balanced used to be the staple for sniper rifles back in the day, and I was never really a huge fan of Balanced. But anyway, without any of that, Balanced will help you to reach maximum accuracy, meaning that the reticle will zoom in and be stable faster than without it. And really and truly, that's not going to help a Deadeye build because the Deadeye is going to need to zoom in. Now, if you're not worried about that and you just need to hurry up and quickly get someone out, it can help you out in a pinch. But if you're trying to set up and go for maximum damage, in that case, it does not really work out for you. Now, the other caveat about this is that when we look at Trained, it's highly spec'd into electronics. Now, with that being said, if you're going to run a Deadeye build, you're going to really want to run that with more firearms than electronics. So this is kind of going to be a dead stat. So I would say if I had to recommend anything, I would say get rid of Trained, put Deadly on there, run with Balance, and then just work it as is. 282 is not a bad gear score, so if you decide to pick it up, leave a comment down below, let me know. At the DZ3 weapons vendor, we have a pretty interesting little sidearm, and I want to bring attention to this for some of the newer agents. I'm sure the OGs already know about this, but for the newer agents, this is a bit of a heads up. Now, the double barrel shotgun, or the double barrel sawed-off shotgun sidearm, is being sold this week with a 281 gear score, and it comes with 340.5 stagger. Comes with the talents Talented, Predatory, and Commanding. Yes, you can have a sidearm with 3 talents on it, and the good thing about this is that really and truly, when you think about your sidearm, you want to use it mostly for utility's sake. So you want to have certain talents that may not necessarily be the best for your primary weapon, but could help you out for utility, such as things that can give you bleed or cause fire or something like that. Now, one of the main talents that I think a lot of people like is Predatory. Now, Predatory is good on just about every kind of weapon that you can have with the SMGs, the shotgun, the assault rifles, even LMGs. Sniper rifles, maybe not so much, but it still could come in handy if you are a really glass cannon-y type build. Now, the thing about this is Predatory on a sidearm is really good because if you need to finish something off, or maybe you're low on health but you don't have Predatory on your main main weapon, you can switch to your sidearm, finish that enemy off, get predatory, and then switch back to your main weapon and still get that health regeneration kick. And it's really useful in that way. And again, it's used as utility. Now coming in, the last thing, it has commanding, and commanding, killing enemies when your signature is active, extends the duration by 20%. Really and truly, if you're going to go with this is really good on LMGs, and it keeps you firing and shooting. But you know, if you had to have something on here and you couldn't roll it off, and you know, you can go ahead and keep it. But really, there are better options for utility's sake. But this isn't terrible, but personally I wouldn't do it myself. I think predatory is awesome, and if you could get harmful to get bleed, that would be even better. Now the other thing is talented is also on this, but unfortunately we talked earlier about talented and how it's kind of spread out with firearms and spread out with electronics. So any of these kinds of talents that have electronics and firearm spreads, it can be a little bit of a problem to get working. Now the thing about talented is it's really good for electronics builds. So killing a target with this weapon increases the skill power by 15% for 20 seconds. So basically you kill an enemy and you get more skill power for 20 seconds. And this again could be really good utility. So if you are running some kind of skill build but you don't have talented on a weapon, or you don't want to put it on your weapon, then you could use your primary, get something weak, switch to your sidearm, pop it, get that buff, plus get some health, and then you could go back to your main weapon and keep doing what you're doing. This is pretty useful and pretty handy to have certain talents like this, but a little bit of a heads up, something that I think some people should know is that adept does not work in that way. So if you wanted to have adept on your sidearm, any kind of sidearm for utility, as soon as you get adept to proc, once you switch weapons, adept will go away. So kind of keep that in mind. Certain talents work well with switching, other talents don't. You may want to test that out and see what works out for you, works out for your build. Commanding could be rolled off if you have enough electronics, but if you don't, you may want to get rid of talented, although I do think it is a really nice thing to have in the third slot. All right guys, that is it for episode 101 of Good or Garbage. I hope you guys found this video useful in some kind of way, letting you know how to spend your time, whether you found something that was useful for you or just a whole heaping pile of garbage, which most of this was for this week. But there were a couple okay things for newer agents maybe, and for people who've been in the game for a little bit but just haven't had the right, you know, attachments and mods. That's basically what this is. I know some people come in and say, you know, this is all garbage this week. Well, yeah, I'm not in charge of what's being sold. I'm just letting you guys know what's there so you can spend your time wisely. Now with you know, the Division 2 on the horizon. If you don't know about the Division 2 and what information, what little, very little information that we have, go ahead and check out my State of the Game video. It's a State of the Game roundup, letting you know what's going on with the Division 1 and its upcoming 1.8.1, 1.8.2 updates, along with the Division 2 announcement and all of the information regarding that. You go check that video out. Should be a drop down somewhere. You should have seen that. Go ahead and check that out and let me know what you guys think about the upcoming 1.8.1 and also the Division 2. I've been reading you guys' comments. Some of you are pretty hype about it, some of you not so much, a lot of you actually not so much. So let me know in the comments of either that video or this video what you guys think of the Division 2 and the future of the Division. I'll be reading. Peace.